then from the UK wants to know, what ringtones do you all have on your phones? Pete's got good vibrations.
I did, yeah. Well, I did have. Actually, not on this phone, no.
Mark has Yours Is No Disgrace by Yes, from the Yes album.
I'm fed up with that though. I didn't mean to change it. I just haven't got round to it.
I've just got one of the iPhone.
I've just got that old phone that goes ring, 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 ring.
Old fashioned.
That's it.
Yeah, I've just got the standard ring.
What, Nokia? Do.
No,
what's
just the
Harpo
standard
then?
ring.
That's my text.
That's your text, is it? That is a good noise. Isn't it?
Tell you what, we did have for a while. Various members of the band we had this chap who worked for the Polish promoter called Stefan, and when he left, he used to go da,
oh, yeah.
da,
Yeah.
which is very strange because he also smoked a pipe. Ian sampled him, I think,
Yeah,
one
I don't know
night,
if I've still got
laughing, and handed it round. And so when my phone rang, it used to go da.
Ian's looking for it now.
Yeah, I don't
He's
know if
probably
I've still
got it.
Okay, well,
Watch this space.
we'll
How
have
late
that.
it is. There it is.
There you go. If anybody would like that ringtone, I'm sure.
Yes, we can sell that as a
If you
download.
can imagine a grown man smoking a pipe and making that noise, you could see why we treasured it so much.
York Gonzalez from Colombia, South America, wants to know, what's your opinion about the existence of a few but loyal fans in countries where rock has little exposure, and thanks to the internet we can be aware of all your work? You mean, are we aware of you in Colombia? We've never been there, so it's a tricky one, really, isn't it?
Well, it's great that
Well,
it
that's
can
got to be a
happen.
good thing,
It's
isn't it?
fabulous
Yeah,
that
it's,
it can happen.
Yeah, I think it's part of the world that we've never visited. That we've probably got quite a fan base. I've heard that we've got quite a lot of fans in India, but you don't really sell records there, so it's very hard to sort of track the level of interest.
Didn't you say there was a lot of Greeks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the sort of strangeness about the internet, that it was born out of cutting edge technology, and it's all digital and it's all it's all futuristic and megabits and things, but the internet has become probably its primary use now is for spiritual and social interactivity, for people to get in touch with each other, to be together, and to be aware of what's going on globally, way beyond what the media feeds them. And that's beautiful.
So Chris from Poland wants to know, if you were to re-record an entire studio album from your back catalogue, which one would it be?
To re-record it?
Wow.
Do we have to?
I would probably.
I'd have to say Radiation, probably.
I'd say
Yeah,
Radiation as well.
Radiation's the obvious choice, isn't it? It's the only thing I'd say that.
I'd probably say Brave, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Last time I listened to Brave, I thought, well, it's kind of it could be just a bit better. They all could be, couldn't they? I mean, I think
That's true.
they're never.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
never
maybe certain
sound-
albums could be better overall, but I think there's quite a lot of songs you couldn't improve. I
I
mean,
think-
if you take This Is the 21st Century from what was that on? Arachnophobia.
Animatophobia.
I don't think you could change that for the better by re-recording it. I mean, I know we just did, and less is more.
Somebody's phone's
We
I
going.
know, how do I stop that? Oh, well, it's only vibrating. Just between it and me.
Got 5 more questions.
Here we go then. Next question.
Next question.
Is there any backstory to Easter? My favourite Marillion song. Why is it called Easter? Johnny Coleman, USA.
Right, here we go. I went to Belfast with the Europeans back in the early 80s, and back then the Irish Troubles, the bombings and the general fighting and the army presence were constantly in the news, and to someone who knew very little about Ireland other than the amazing poetry of W.B. Yeats and what I'd seen on TV, I was a bit nervous going there. I thought we'd get blown up or shot or something. And as is so often the case, we got there and the experience was totally different, and the atmosphere on the streets of Belfast was totally different, and it was one of the few cities I've ever been to where if two people were walking alongside each other at the same speed, total strangers, they'd be chatting and laughing to each other. That just doesn't happen in cities, but it happened. Certainly back then it was happening in Belfast, and so I got to start thinking a lot more about what the ordinary people of Ireland had to endure, and how awful it was to live with all the fallout of the Troubles, of the soldiers carrying automatic weapons while they're taking their kids to school. It's not a nice atmosphere to have to live in. They didn't want it. None of those people wanted the Troubles. They wanted peace. They wanted a stable economy. They didn't want that 1 in 100 chance that they might get blown to bits going to Woolworths. So I wrote the song for the people, for the ordinary people of Ireland who wanted nothing to do with the Troubles, as a little message of a little love song, really, for Ireland and its people. And the reason it's called Easter is because W.B. Yeats wrote a poem called Easter 1916, which was about an attempt by a number of Irish partisans to take over the post office in Dublin in Easter 1916, and how harshly they were then treated by the British. If you want the full backstory, I was trying to write a song like the Sky Boat song. What the Sky Boat song is to Scotland. I wanted to write one of those for Ireland so that it had one, and that's how that lilting melody came about. And the way it moves was a deliberate attempt to turn the Sky Boat song inside out. So if you read Easter 1916 by W.B. Yeats, you'll find lines in there that have been turned inside out that you might be familiar with from Easter. A heart turned into a stone to trouble the living stream, I think is in there. There's a few bits in there that the Plough and the Stars as well. That's a play by Sean O'Casey, also a very famous Irish playwright. That's about it.
Robert Mazur from the USA wants to know, as a fan of Marillion music, I'm probably not alone when I say I get the chills in my body multiple times during the course of an album as the cool parts come up, like when the deep bass kicks in at the beginning of Asylum Satellite.
Yeah,
Many parts of Ocean Cloud and Neverland, or the scream before The Last of You, Brave. They all do it every time. Do you guys also have that chill up the spine moment when recording the songs in the studio? Do you know when you've created that cool part?
Oh,
Sometimes.
I think so.
I
think you do. Okay.
Yeah, I remember that in Asylum Satellite, on the very, very first demo of the idea. I'm thinking, whoa!
Yeah, that's
when I heard it played back. So yeah, it did give me.
There
chills.
are those moments.
It doesn't last though. Well, for me, it doesn't. Every if you play a song 100 times, you're not going to get it. Every time.
it lasts for me most of those moments. Yeah.
When you play them live and you get the energy from an audience, the Great Escape, that kind of release that you have in there, then that still does it.
What a big moment in Neverland when it all goes.
Yeah.
When we all stop and then if we all come in at the same time together.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah.
No, it's like
Yeah.
There's also other moments though that are not so, that are more subtle, that surprise and trip me up now and again. I was listening through to. We were doing Map of the World at Port Zeeland, and I was watching through to the DVD footage because we were working on it, and I found myself suddenly really moved to tears. I can't remember what moment it was, and it surprised me that song did it to me. But it's sort of really made me sit up and rethink what that song is and what it means, and because we tend to just deride that. Oh, Map of the World, there's a lot of rubbish, but but it's not. You know, I mean, the
Is it underrated?
I think it is
Oh, it
underrated.
is underrated.
And I
There's
think
a lot of those sort of songs.
I think the depth of it is underrated because it hasn't got the 127 chord changes, tempo changes in it. We just think, oh, it's just 4 chords and it's in a straight line. It's like it gains a sort of superficial quality in your mind that is not really fair to it. You know, and that's what shocked me. You know, it was deep enough to move me to tears, and I wasn't expecting that. It was really weird. So you can be surprised.
That's true. I'll agree with that. Sometimes you hear a song you haven't heard for a long time, and it does give you that chill up the spine moment.
Yeah.
That you weren't expecting to happen. Yeah.
Duncan Worrell, UK, says, whenever I first listen to a new Marillion album, I never like it, and I'm usually disappointed.
Hey!
Then I listen a few more times, and eventually
Put it in the bin.
loathe it. I'll be listening to the album non-stop for months.
Yeah.
Indeed, I listen to little else but Marillion these days. This worries me. Are there clever subliminal messages in the music?
We're like an interesting French cheese, aren't we? You just kind of think, oh, I don't think I like that, but you know, and you put
When
it
you
in your
open
mouth,
it.
and it's every bit as rotten as you thought it'd be. But and yet, after a
Yeah.
while,
I
you
felt
can't
like
leave
that.
it alone.
I felt like that when I first heard "Close to the Edge" by Yes, actually.
Yeah, so did I.
I got it for
that's
Christmas
'cause
and I
there
put it
wasn't
on
a tune in
thinking,
it anyway.
"Fragile was amazing. This is going to be even better." And I thought, "Oh dear, what have I
What
done?"
the hell is
It
this?
sounded
My
like all
Christmas
the notes being
present.
played at once, didn't it?
It
All the
did.
time.
But it's a great album. Yeah, no, I think our songs and our albums do grow on you. Hopefully.
I think that's true of a lot of music. If you don't get it at first, listening a few times really helps. Or if you
Yeah.
do get it at first, you think it's great first listen. They're the songs that
Gets
tend
a
to
bit-
wear off
yeah,
very
they do,
quickly.
don't they?
Yeah, more often than not, the reason you get it so quickly is because it's very, very simple,
And
Very
predictable.
repetitive.
which doesn't really give it much of a.
So
It
final,
doesn't give it a lot of staying power.
Doesn't
Does
give
it?
it legs.
the final question from Ria Susanna, and I won't even attempt your surname, Ria, from Finland. What weather conditions describe the band and your personalities? Stormy. Occluded cold front.
Mostly sunny, I think.
Misty and changeable.
Spring.
Spring.
Spring. Hey, we've got a whole wealth of stuff going on there, people.
Yeah, you know, it could be a bit blowy, could be
Wouldn't make a lot of money as a weather.
Foggy.
forecast.
could be foggy, too vague.
Oh,
Damp in.
damp. Or calm before the storm.
Dark and cold.
Yeah, dark, cold, and
What was
wet.
that album? Brighter Later.
And that's the end of the second episode of Ask the Family, Ask the Band.
Just a minute.
So without further ado, we'll just
sorry,
say
I
goodnight
had
then,
to
shall
go.
we? Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.